What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Today we are going to be looking at ONF with your song. Now, I don't know this group, but this song hit the headlines everywhere with it reaching over 10 million clicks within the first 28 hours. And I was like, okay, who are these guys? Let's check out their MV and let's see what it is all about. Like always, guys, before we start with the MV itself, if you do enjoy the content you are about to see, then make sure you give the channel some love by pressing that lovely subscribe button and the like button. And I would just say, let's click the play button and let's see what it's all about. It's nice that they also have a bit of whistling going on while he's actually whistling on the street. I just want to say, this is a complete CGI world, I would presume, no? Like... Hold up. I want to give them a little bit of credit here. I want to say that what they did with the colors on his eyes is great. Now, I'm not a makeup artist or anything, but it's nice when you start filming elements and they complement each other. In other words, his hair fits his eye tones. Really nice. Is this all a CGI world? Yeah, it is. You can clearly see that the one thing that they did really good here is that he looks very sharp and he's very colorful, and everything in the background is more just like a white building. So it basically has no texture, no colors. Do you know what I mean? And therefore it fits really well. But let's see how this continues. But very interesting, even with the shadows and everything. Like even here, there's a bit of a shadow, you know, where he's walking. That's super, it's well done. You know, it's about immersing them into the video, into the world. Very interesting approach, and I don't know where they're going with, but aren't these like the buildings in... This is London for sure, at least I would presume. If I'm not, correct me in the comments. But it's nice to see how in this world they're actually growing like a city. You see, the one thing that is a little bit difficult to understand here is that they added a bit of motion blur to the background. So when the camera starts panning from, in this case, right to left, so around the character, there's a bit of a motion blur. But that motion blur is not visible on the character. So you can literally see that the city landscape and the way the camera is filming is a little bit different from one another. You know, you need to be a little bit in the industry to see it, but just believe me for my words. It's really hard to sync it. Like, I'm not giving away points for this. I'm not saying that this is super easy to do, but it's still something that should be in the future. You know, they should do it better, of course. Let's go back to one sec, guys. I want to see that, you know, because everything looks good from the waist up. But when I start looking at the feet, and let's turn off the subtitles here, it seems a bit... I don't know what it is, but you can see that he's not walking on this bridge because of the formation of the bridge and the way his boots are moving. There's something about it. I think it's purely because the floor is blue and that blue is not reflected on his boots. Like, the immersion is not 100%, if that makes sense. A little bit of a shame, you know. Again, I don't know how much time they had on it, and I don't know how much budget they had to do to complete this video. But it's small things like that that can really just destroy that immersion between characters in a CGI world. Then again, it's also really hard for this person to be in this world because he's standing literally in a blue screen room or a green screen room. Most likely a blue screen, most likely a green screen because he's wearing blue. But, you know, it's really hard for people to do those things as well because this is not real. Or here, for example, you can see that he's just too perfectly cut out, you know, in this set. Like, small things like that really stand out. And that's my problem with green screen. It's really hard to pull off. But again, let's continue. The concept is very interesting. And they're just pulling through completely. Wow. Also, let's just give them a little bit of a compliment here. Like, I don't know how they did it, but you can see the shadow here, okay? And I don't know if this is a real shadow or if this is something that they made in the CGI world, but look how they just fixed it with the sunlight all of a sudden coming and then that shadow slowly disappears. Bloop. Nice. Really, really cool. Wait, what? Why do we have shadows pointing to the back and shadows pointing to us? And the sun is over here. Like, this makes no sense in any world. Like, the sun is behind them on the left going down like a sunset, but all the shadows are pointing to the sun and in this way. What is going on here? Like, this is a really weird scenario. Really, really weird. This makes no sense at all. Here you can even see it better. You can see that they're standing in a studio, and I think that the floor here is real. So in this case, that this is actually in a proper studio room where they actually molded this floor, and they have multiple studio lights creating these shadows. But from a standpoint of what's happening behind them with the sun on the left, the shadows make no sense here. And that's the problem, you know, like once you go into a green screen room, you don't know what the end product will look like until the end product. But this is something they should have planned. Like normally they create these worlds way in advance, and then you can also plan a little bit with the lighting. But this is really sloppy. Like this makes no sense in any world, you know, especially with two-way shadows. Makes no sense. And then also against the sun. Weird. I wonder where they're going to go to, though, with this world. I really hope that they're going to go into a direction where all of a sudden the colors appear, the city properly evolves. I hope that they're going there, because it seems like they're going for a futuristic world. Really interesting. I love what they did just with the CGI. You know, normally I'm not a big fan of it, but I love it that they just went away and got rid of all the colors. It just makes it a little bit more unique, if that makes sense. Like you're looking at a clean slate, which is nice. Yeah, that's totally what they did. So in theory, they're literally just standing, at least that's what I would presume, on a slate here, and then that's why they have a reference here for the shadow. Interesting choice. Again, I still think what they did here is very ballsy. Like, don't get me wrong, this is a really expensive production, but it's fantastic, but it just has its issues, and that's purely because you don't have reference points, so you don't really know what's happening. But for me, I always think about the sun. Where is the sun standing? For example, here as well, why is there a shadow if he's standing in a bigger shadow? You can see like literally that the sun is over here, but what is the shadow doing there? Like the sun shouldn't be there. Do you know what I mean? And also, if you look at the shadow of the 3D objects in this case, they're looking as if the sun is going in this direction. While again, with the character, the sun is going in this direction. Like, what world is this? We don't have two suns, because if there are two suns, there would be two shadows on everything. But it just seems like everything is really weirdly planned here. It's a big mistake. Like once you see it, it's really awkward. Not really well planned through. Ah, there we go. We're getting a little bit of color. I'm waiting to see more shadows. I don't know. My eyes are fixated to them. Actually, I think we got the answer there. So the shadows are fake. If you, let's take away the subtitles. If you look at this particular scene and only look at his foot raises, but his shadow doesn't do too much. You see what I mean? There was a shadow, but the leg part did nothing. In other words, it just didn't comprehend what the human was doing. Interesting, though. Still very good job with mimicking the shadows. Just in the wrong way most of the cases. If not all the cases. Like, again, I'm sorry, I need to talk about it again because I have to do it. But again, the shadow, it's going to the right. But what are these shadows over here? Interesting. Interesting. They really messed up on the shadows on this MV. No idea what happened, but maybe it was just such a problematic issue. They just went with screw it. I mean, for the rest, the MV is cool. The song is very uplifting. They finally got all the shadows correct. Hats off to you, to the guys who actually made this video. I mean, now it's actually good. Is there any more? What does ONF actually stand for? I was actually thinking of OnlyFans, but what's this? I was thinking of OnlyFans, but that's a little bit weird. No, ignore me. But yeah, that is ONF with your song. I must say, from a song point of view, I actually like it. I think it's uplifting. It's a very classical K-pop rhythm. If you know, it's a bit uplifting. It makes you want to move. It makes you want to enjoy life a little bit more, which is always just a good sign. I always say, let's motivate happiness. Now, when it comes to the MV, I love the take that they're doing here. I love that they're creating this world as if you're looking at something that's being downloaded. It starts off with an empty slate, and then it slowly starts loading more and more in. The problem with green screen, because everything here is filmed in a green screen, is that it's really hard for everything to match. It's a very difficult task, especially for people who do not consider all these small elements. And it's not the ONF members, it's literally the director, the videographer, the lightist. All of these people should have considered these small little mistakes, because people like me pay attention to it. Like, what is actually going on with shadows going multiple ways, and then it doesn't even match to where the sun is coming from. Small things like that should be very much prioritized, but they're not, which is such a shame, because it destroys that illusion of the members actually being in this world. It shows that some of the shots are done in studio, some of the shots are literally done completely in a green screen room, and again, the orientation seems like it wants to go in everywhere, but it doesn't do it. You know, you need to really focus on all of these small points. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you did enjoy this video like you always do. If you did enjoy, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed to be notified on when I upload next, and of course, see you guys on the next video. And like always, stay awesome. I'm out.